How's it going, everyone? I wanted to make this video to introduce myself and talk a little bit about the HS0lo Stake Pool and hopefully answer some of the questions I see a lot online. So first off, my name is John Huthmaker. I am a network engineer. I've been working with computers for 30 years. I started working when I was about 12, and now I'm 42. Got my first professional job at 19, and then I've been doing that ever since. I started off as a systems engineer, actually started off more like help desk, then desktop support, then systems engineer, and then worked my way up actually to the network engineer. And nowadays I work as a, I guess as an architect or principal engineer, I guess is what you'd call it, for a large reseller. My focus is actually Cisco voice over IP. In fact, you can kind of see some of the stuff I have in my background here. I have a couple of phones right over there. That's my big thing, the voice over IP phone, not necessarily the analog one, but I can put those on voice networks too. Anyways, so I've worked with Bitcoin and other crypto for a pretty long time. In fact, I remember when Bitcoin was a brand new thing. A friend of mine was showing it to me. I think I had like a Core 2 processor, and he had like a quad core processor. This is going like way back when those were brand new and very expensive. And he was showing me how you could mine these things off a CPU. This is before GPU mining ever existed, and definitely way before script mining, anything like that. Or sorry, not script mining, but ASIC mining. Anyways, I didn't know what to make of it. It seemed pretty cool, but at the time it didn't have any use cases, and it's worth like pennies, probably nothing at the time. Eventually, I saw it actually start to have market value and use cases. At this point, it already had reached about $5. I owned quite a bit of it at the time and used it for various purposes online. Of course, had no idea what was coming. And the next thing I know, it was worth thousands of dollars, and I didn't have any more. But that didn't stop me from mining. At that point, it started to get very interesting. People had released new code, like Litecoin was out, so you had script-based crypto. And then, next thing you know, you had Script N and several others. And, I've done various forms of mining over time. Of course, years ago, I was not quite as financially stable, because I was a young, stupid kid, bills to pay. So most of my mining ended up just going to pay bills. So unfortunately, I never really accumulated a large mass of it. And it's unfortunate. It would be great today, but so several years ago, I heard about Cardano. I actually bought it a long time ago. It was very fascinating to me. I actually knew it was going to be pretty big. It actually was not the only one on my radar. There was IOTA. There was also Ripple. I thought all three actually had a lot of potential. I bought up quite a bit of all three. And, unfortunately, I watched those things tank, a few years back. They all kind of just went to nothing and lost, I lost basically all of my investment and mostly just shoved it into hardware wallets and walked away from it. And so, unfortunately, I stopped watching, which is really unfortunate because I'm the guy who I always know what's going on. I usually know it before everybody else, but because I just stopped really looking at the crypto market, I just wasn't looking. And it's very unfortunate because, I missed the boat on the ITN. I only found out about the Cardano stake pools a few months back, and when I did, I was just kind of blown away, like, wow, I can't believe I let this get past me. But luckily, I had all that crypto that I had stored, so I had enough to build a stake pool. So I started working kind of night and day on it. And this is one of the things I do. I kind of geek out on projects like this. As an engineer and anybody who else is really into computers, this is kind of your thing. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting to learn something new. I don't consider myself a programmer in any way, but obviously I've spent a lot of years working on computers, and I've had to figure stuff like that out for various things. So, it was a fun little project. And when I finally got it moving, I really didn't know what was going to happen with it. I kind of figured it was going to be a lot of fun, but also just really wasn't sure where it was going to go. So the one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of people that are just kind of jumping in now and building their own pools. And that's cool. I wish them all success. But I also think they might not have the right plan. What I don't see is this, turning a person into an overnight millionaire. It's just not going to happen. I guess I've played the crypto game long enough to just know that that's very unrealistic. Now, what is realistic is, making a little bit of crypto and then holding it. And then when it goes up in value, then yes, you could do quite well. But that's not going to happen in the next week, month, or 3 months. It probably won't happen in 2021. It'll probably be more like 2025 or maybe 2030. So if you're looking at it long term, that's perfect. If you're looking at hoping that you're going to get really wealthy in like 2 weeks, well, yeah, that's not going to happen. So anyways, I did this because, I knew it's something I was good at. I also have my own data center. That's what I do. I build computers all day, every day, and knew I could build a really good system. So that's where my pool came in. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about that stake pool. So at this point, I've got, I built it myself. It costs 500 ADA to build the certificate. So if you only had 500 ADA, you would be building a pool with no ADA pledged against it, because building the certificate eats up 500 ADA. So at this point, I now have a server with 1,000 pledged. So that's the 1,000 on top of the original pool certificate. And then I have other in a wallet that's also delegated to my own pool. So, I make up a very small percentage of the current delegations. I think we have 46 delegators and 700,000 ADA delegated against a pool, that's great. You really want like 1 million. That'll almost pretty much guarantee you one block every epoch. And now we're very close to that. The thing is very close doesn't mean that you're not going to get one. It actually means, it means that we probably have about 3/4 of a chance every epoch. And that's pretty good, because when you get those rewards, it's going to be split against a lot less delegates. And I think it's really just going to keep going up from there. It's very clear, just kind of watching the way the other pool operators talk and the response I've been getting online. It seems like people like kind of where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to accomplish. And I really appreciate it. All the people who have delegated my pool, I really appreciate it. I think it's really cool. I really dig the fact that you've put your faith in me. And I think it's well placed. Like I said, my intention is to do this for a long time. And it's definitely not a get rich quick, which means that I'm not going to pull the plug when I don't become a millionaire tomorrow. I have one block producing node, 4 relays. The relays are geo-redundant. I've moved them around the country that way that, they can be up and stable if there's an internet outage or power outage or whatever. So a couple things I wanted to cover. Let's talk a little bit about how to protect your crypto. The most important thing is really use a hardware wallet. If you use a software wallet, typically, you have light wallets and then heavy wallets. A light wallet's just going to be an interface to somebody else's copy of the blockchain. And that's fine. It's not really a problem. But problem is you're going to have to go in, enter the software, enter a passcode every single time. And if that passcode and seed gets lifted from you, that's the end of the story. It's it. You're going to lose the crypto, and that's the end of it. If you're very careful, of course, you could protect yourself, but it's just much better to do a hardware wallet. And here's why. When it comes to transacting crypto, there's 2 keys. There's your public key and your private key. And this is pretty basic for anybody who works around computers. It's like if you ever deal with SSL, you kind of learn how public keys and private keys work. But in the crypto world, the public key is your address. It's where people send you your crypto. Your private key is how you sign the transaction. So if you want to send crypto, you sign it with your private key and then send it out to the blockchain. And that's what those wallets do for you. The quote wallet, the Daedalus and Yorori, all those are just software applications that get you access to the blockchain. And so when you are using one of those softwares, it will take your private key, sign your transaction, and submit it to the blockchain for you. That's what it does. And actually, I kind of want to point this out. There's no such thing as physical crypto. Everybody kind of has this notion that, okay, you have an ATM card, you have a bank account, and it has money in it. But you could go to the bank and withdraw physical bills. That is not crypto. That's not how it works. Crypto is intangible. There's no physical item whatsoever. It's literally a database with entries. And let's say that I built my own crypto. Let's say I built 1 million of my own crypto. So I'd have this Genesis block that would say 1 million crypto. And then person A gets, whatever. I send them 1,000 crypto. there'll be a ledger entry that deducts 1,000 from my wallet and adds 1,000 to theirs. And then they send it along, and then they send it along. All you're doing is you're looking at the Genesis block all the way up through the end, and then at the end, you know how much everybody has. It's pretty much it. It's just a ledger that says X amount at the end. So yeah, that's all crypto is. I even heard a fascinating story where a guy was trying to tell me he had a bunch of Bitcoin and he overwrote the Bitcoin with his wife's picture as if this was supposed to be some sort of like flattering story. Yeah, he didn't do that, dude. There's no such thing. Okay, so anyways, hardware wallets. What do? Well, very cool part about a hardware wallet is you don't even know your private key. It doesn't. It only exists within the hardware wallet. It's generated based on your seed code. And if you bought a brand new hardware wallet, pull it out of the box, plug it in. You can either restore it with a seed key or let it generate a new one. And let it generate a new one. Write it down, put it somewhere secure. Do not put that thing in a text file on your desktop. Make sure it is just handwritten and locked away. But anyways, using the seed key and the device itself, it will generate your public key and your private key. It will not tell you what the private key is. It'll tell you what the public key is. And of course, with the public key, you can have people send you your transactions. When the time comes that you want to send money, you plug your device in and you basically set up the software, so your wallet, Daedalus or whatever, and say, I want to send so-and-so 1,000 ADA. And what it'll do is it'll go back to your hardware wallet and say, okay, they want to send 1,000 ADA. Can you sign this transaction? And so the wallet will then essentially pop up on the screen saying, okay, I'm about to do this. I'm going to send this to so-and-so and to this address. Can you confirm? And you have to have physical access of the device. And at that point, you can confirm everything. And then you press the buttons and say, yes. It then signs the transaction and hands it back to the wallet to then hand it back to the blockchain. You'll never know what your private key is, and that's great. Because if you don't know your private key, it can't be stolen from you. So, yeah, and do you need your hardware wallet to receive money? No, like I said, crypto is not an actual thing. It exists in a ledger. So if somebody sends money to your address, great, it's in the ledger. You don't need to have your wallet online. You don't need to have your hardware wallet plugged in. You could be receiving for all of time, and when you come back, it'll all still be there because it's still just in the cloud on the ledger. That's it. I'm going to flip my camera around here. Let me see. How do I do this? Can I do this? Well, I'll just do this. Okay, so right now you should be looking at a whole bunch of hardware wallets. Are nice and sealed, nice and crispy. So there's a Ledger Nano X. There's the Trezor. That's a Model T, an S model ledger. So yeah, those are the prizes for the month of March. I'm going to be giving those away. Yeah, the 3 Ledger Nano S's, they'll be individual, then a Ledger Nano X, and then a Ledger Nano X with 100 ADA for the top prize. That's going to be pretty rad. And obviously, I'm actually really pumped to give these things away. Even though it's cost me a good amount of money, investment in my pool, I'm really excited to kind of see this all come to fruition. So I kind of can't wait for this draw, as I'm sure you guys can't wait. But then the Trezor. So what's that all about? Well, we're coming to a point here. We're going to be minting that block. It's just a matter of time. And when we do, I'm going to collect all the addresses that are in my pool at the time. And well, it'll still be done at the end of the month, but it's only going to include the people that were in my pool when we mint. And what's going to happen is everybody's going to get a token that I've generated. So this is one of those non-fungible tokens that you've probably all heard about. I produced some, and it was kind of just for this. And I've produced other tokens, but this one's just for this. And everybody that has a delegation with my pool will receive one of those. And then one person's going to win this Trezor S with, Trezor Model T with all 340 of the operator rewards. Why am I doing this? Well, obviously it's an incentive to get people to join. But the truth is again, I'm in this for the long run. So, what's 340 ADA? If I'm going to be doing this for years to come, there's many thousands more that are coming. So it's fine. I'm going to give up the first round here. And I'll probably be doing stuff like this for a while. Like I said, it's a lot of fun for me. So why not? And that kind of brings me to month of April. I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to do. I'll probably start playing around with tokens a little more. Of course, it won't include that one token that I'm talking about. Probably more hardware wallets, maybe a bit of ADA. I've got a bit of thinking to do, because the reality of it is there's investors all over the world. What may be of interest to somebody in the U.S. may not be of interest to somebody that lives in, say, Asia Pacific. So, I was trying to be respectful of all the delegates. I want to find stuff that is appealing to everyone, and so I've got to put a little more thought to that. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of the things I see a lot online, some of the questions I see a lot. So the first one is, okay, I delegated to X pool and I didn't receive any money or any ADA. So let's talk a little bit about the timeline, how it works. And actually, I'm going to use the example of the current block that's going on right now. So Epic 255 that's happening right now. Let's talk about the timeline on that. So you would have staked with my pool in Epic 253. So 253 was going on at the time, and you delegated. So Epic 254 starts, and what happens is the snapshot's taken. So you're now included in, it's now known to the blockchain that you're in my pool. Everything works on this kind of sequence. You can actually leave and join in the same epic, and it wouldn't change anything. It only really matters where you're at when the epic ends and the next one starts. So Epic 254 starts, the snapshot's taken, and now it's known that you're in my pool, okay? So then Epic 255 starts, and Epic 255 is based on the snapshot that was taken before. So it's really, so you would have had to join in Epic 253 to really have been, in and active during this current Epic 255. Okay, so let's say that we mint in 255. So what happens is the rewards are calculated in the next epic, so Epic 256, okay? Then 257 starts, and the rewards are paid out, and you can retrieve your rewards. So it's a sequence of events. It's not instantaneous. It actually makes it impossible to guess who's going to win the next big, epic. I see that a lot, where people just join pools because they see it's the number one on ADA pools. Well, it's number one on ADA pools based on what took place 2 epics ago, and it's paid out 2 epics later. So it's impossible to predict the next one, because you jump in now. Well, you're not jumping in now. You're jumping in for what's 2 epics from now. And next epic, there's going to be another one on the top. So if you're trying to chase this thing, you're never going to win. Really, the best bet is to pick a pool you think is going to do well and stick with it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense on how that works, on how the payout works. So let's see. I'm looking at my list here of things I need to talk about. So philanthropy. I see a lot of pools talking about how they're starting up their pool for X. They want to donate money for this. I'm sure they're all good causes. Here's the thing. I do a lot of donating myself. We have a bunch of pets in my house. I have 2 dogs, 6 cats. We've had others that have come and gone. And, we're actually kind of known in the rescue industry. We've helped other people. They've helped us. So we donate to a lot of good causes in my household. But that's not something I put on my resume when I go to apply for a job. When I'm applying for a job, I'm looking for a paycheck. So I want to be forthcoming. I'm doing this for profit. There's no not hiding that fact. I think that that's totally fine. If I donate to a good cause, cool. I may mention it, but it's certainly not the cornerstone of this operation. So sorry, it's not. I question a lot of these people that do this. I mean, I see so many hopping on. I am, building this pool to cure cancer. Sure you are, dude. Sure you are. I'm sure that, you started off with good intentions, but the reality is you're going to find it's a lot of work, and it really is a lot of work. This is actually taking more time out of my day than my day job. And again, I don't expect to get rich off of it, but at some point, I'm doing this for a reason. I would like to profit off of it. That's why you guys are joining the pool. You guys want to profit off of the interest that you're going to receive through rewards. Come on, guys, let's just be honest with each other. That's what this is about. So I question all those people that are out there saying that they're doing it for the good of man. All right, anyways, let's talk about saturation. Right now, the sat point 100% is 64 million. It was supposed to be cut down to 32 million at the end of this month. They changed that. They don't have an ETA for that anymore. But let's talk about how this works. You need so much delegated your pool to mint a block. 1 million will get you about, 1 block per epic. If you had 500,000, you get about one every other epoch or something like that, you know. But what happens when you get 10 million? Well, okay, so you might get 10 blocks, but you're also going to split that amongst 10 million delegations. This is the concept a lot of people don't understand. They think a saturated pool, well, man, if it's making lots of blocks, I'm going to get lots of money. No, you're not. It's going to be spread across a lot of delegates. You don't have $10 million delegated. You have whatever, 1,000, 100,000, whatever you've got. Your piece of the pie is a piece of that delegation. So a larger pool doesn't necessarily mean better rewards. It means more consistent rewards, but not necessarily better. And that brings us to the saturation point. What is that and why is it important? Well, once you hit the saturation point, you've maxed out your ability to build blocks. And you can still have people join your pool. Problem is now those rewards are going to be watered down because now you have to pay them across more delegates than you're really receiving rewards for. So let's say you had 100 million delegated against your pool. You're going to get the rewards for 64 million, and they're going to be spread across 100 million worth of delegates. Saturation is not good. So if you really want consistent rewards, you probably are looking for a pool that's probably around the couple million range. Nice thing is about the couple million range is that, well, it's a sweet spot. You're going to get good rewards, and it's going to be a long time before that pool gets saturated. Because at some point, if an operator is doing well, it's going to get saturated. It's inevitable. People are going to join it. I hope it happens someday to my pool, but you know, we're not there yet. So by joining my pool today, you've got quite a while before you have to really worry about that. You know, a lot of other operators have addressed this by just starting other pools. I think that's fine. I've also seen one pool that has like 40 pools. Man, that is really cornering the market there. I mean, just off the delegator, or I'm sorry, the minimum reward of 340 per epic, man, multiply that across all those pools, and that guy's making like almost $1 million a year just in minimal rewards. I mean, that's cool, good for that person, but there's also, you know, the whole point to doing these pools is actually to, you know, spread out the network and not place all your eggs in one basket. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. Out of the many thousands of pools that are out there, you know, 20 is kind of a small number, but it's also kind of unfortunate for smaller guys like me. It's very hard to compete. But, yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe someday I'll open a second one once we hit that saturation point. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there. All right. So just talk about big versus small so you kind of understand that. I think that's got all the topics I wanted to cover for today. It's a pretty long video. I can see I'm already at 22 minutes, and I've probably rambled on quite a bit. But, you know, leave your notes in the YouTube comments. I'd love to answer your questions. I make myself pretty available. I'm on my Telegram channel, you know, at least a few times a day. I try to answer everybody's questions. I'm very active. You'll see on Facebook and Reddit. You know, I would really like to earn your business. And, you know, I'm making pretty big strides to do that. And again, I'm confident we're gonna mint our first block. It's happening very, very soon here. And it's very exciting. So I hope you'll join me. And cool. I hope to be doing many more videos like this in the future, hopefully live next time. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all soon.